this is how I wrote and recorded my song Prototype off my record, Different Kinds of Light.
But I love you, and I think I always will.
So how I wrote Prototype, really great question. I think I was on tour. This was a relatively old one because I remember testing it out in Berlin, I think, or City. I think it was Berlin, yeah. And I remember playing it for the first time on stage and it just really getting that feel. I feel like when you listen to this track, it's almost like listening to the first time I've ever played it on stage. It has this super live feel. And it's really at its core a love song. I think the interesting thing is like the first verse is like, put my heart in quarantine to try and analyze what it is that forces me to love the prototype. It's interesting I put quarantine in there because I think I wrote this before everything shut down and now I just look really fashionable. I look like I'm going with the trend. So yeah, let's delve straight into how I recorded it because I think that's where the interest really comes for me with this record. Alright, what should we go into first? So I think one of the most interesting parts about this song is the harmonica. So Dave Cobb, the producer, said the two things he hates most is the worm pedal and the harmonica. So we decided to do the harmonica and run it through a worm pedal. So this is the effect you'll now hear if I just go this. Alright, here we go.
But I love you, and I think I always.
It's this really strange sound. Let me try and find the bit where it actually goes a bit mental. Hold on. There we go. So I love this sound. So it's super messed up, you know, it sounds like a Karen Dalton record in the way that it just sounds like you're in a little shack on the edge of like Kentucky or something and you're just sort of playing and it's got that crisp feel. I think I was really annoyed because when we were playing the harmonica for ages, it sounded so bright and so clean. It's a really hard instrument to record. And then we were messing around like, how do we mess, you know, fuck this harmonica up? And we just stuck it in a worm pedal and it came up with this sound. It just sounds so, I love it so much. So the interesting thing is them claps at the end, they're actually knee slaps, so bap, 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 I think, no? So basically the claps you hear are actually like knee slaps. We tried to do it on a chair, but it didn't. We liked the sentiment of it, but it never worked. I think Dave's influence came from like this krautrock German band. I really can't remember what it is, but I wish I knew. But it gives this whole rhythm like a counter, just this really almost like atmospheric thing in the percussion. Everything's on the offbeat. Yeah. It's just this really strange kind of percussion decision. Like that tambourine on the off as well. Makes you feel really happy. Okay, how did we do the... So this was the first track we did in RCA Studios. So we literally walked in, and I remember me and my partner walking in with our 2 guitar cases, and everyone is just sat around, and it's such a family vibe. But I must admit, I felt like a certain pressure of being like, these are the best songs I've ever written. This is the best studio I've ever been in. And there's sort of Dave, who's, you know, a little known genius over there. And I just remember feeling like I'd really come to a point in my career that I was really happy with, and really had to, you know, wanted to do the best. So I think when you listen to this record, you're hearing this sort of tension and release. You're hearing this like, oh, you know, we're here and we're doing it and it sounds great, because you never know how things are going to sound in different studios with different people. You really never know how it's going to turn out. So this, I think, has a new joy because it's just like, oh, we all know it's going to go great. Like when you listen to this track, you're like, it's not going to go badly. Like we're all here, we're all great musicians, it's going to work. So the last thing I think I'll talk about on Prototype is the keys. It's really weird. I didn't really remember what we did here, and then I listened and it's so we've definitely run it through to think of Wurlitzer, we've run through something. Really strange decision on my part. And then it's the same thing as Punchline with that ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. It's that octave on the keys ran through some sort of reverb. It's really interesting. I think that Wurlitzer gives it a bit more of an edge. Otherwise, this song can go quite saccharine, like really, really sweet, which I was always quite aware of. We actually recorded it in the vocal booth, me and Luke together. So when he's playing the harmonies and the backing vocals, we're in the same room, which sometimes doesn't work, but it did this time. So let me show you that.
Oh, there is no shortcut on in sky if I see it for a minute. Oh, it was worth the ride. All things got better the moment I fell. When I wasn't looking, it all stood still. I know with these things you can't always tell that I love you, and I think you always will.
He's on the harmonica. So what you'll get by recording in the same room is a lot of things you're doing has to be perfect, because if I got an amazing vocal take and Luke was completely out of tune, it's rendered, you know, kind of, you can't use it. And don't forget, we're all recording as a band. We're in a vocal booth, but everything you'll hear in this take is live primarily. We don't overdub a lot. And on this record specifically, I think there was a tambourine overdub. So this is as live as it gets when you hear this vocal. It's kind of crazy.
For a minute. Oh, it was worth the ride. All things got
Very
better the moment I fell. When I wasn't looking,
You can hear me in
stood
his
still.
track of the... So you can hear the echo of me, which I really love how it all turned out. It made for a really warm sound, and like I said, really proud of this record, and it makes me very, very happy. And I think it was the first love song I've ever written, which was nice. So yeah, that is how I wrote and recorded Prototype in RCA Studios.